this is Trinity Update, and I'm Sandy Bengochia, and with me today is Father Matthew DeRue. Welcome, Father.
Great being here.
Welcome. And, you know, around this time of year, we do a lot of projects for Lent, and we do a lot of things that really want to bring us back to God, to come back to God. And right now, we're going to be talking a little bit about Generation S. And I know a lot of you must be wondering, well, what is Generation S? And because we hear so much about it, and it's become almost a household word, but so few of us really know what Generation S is about. It's just something out there. You know, Father, yes. So what is Generation S? Tell us.
Okay, Generation S, well, the S stands for service. So we rarely speak about generation service. Mm-hmm. With reference to its logo, the S takes on a winding road, and there's a cross on the logo of Generation S, representing, of course, the cross and the Eucharist, but also representing the crossroads in the lives of many young people. That cross represents a young man, a young woman, really thinking of becoming part of another generation of service, another generation of servants. So the whole concept of Generation S and the logo and all that we do is to bring awareness to our Catholic young people, teens, youths, young adults, that there comes a point in your life when you're at a crossroads. Don't frustrate the crossroads. Don't delay being at the crossroads. Don't deny being at the crossroads. But choose. Mm-hmm. Choose for God, choose for vocation, either to the priesthood or religious life, or the single life, or the married life. Mm-hmm. But we want to establish through the logo and all the programs that we must find ourselves at that crossroad where we can discern what God wants of me.
What was the genesis of this? How did this happen? Were you with this at the inception, Father?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It happened when we were celebrating the 60th anniversary of the seminary. So this was about, I would say, I beg your pardon, the 70th anniversary of the seminary. So about 5 years ago, we said, you know, that generation upon generations of priests who have served this archdiocese faithfully. And out of that sense of having different generations, we were talking about raising up another generation of priests and religious and consecrated people who would continue to serve the archdiocese and serve the church as a whole going forward. So the whole idea that for the past 70 to 75 years, we have had generation upon generation of men and women serving. We want to raise up a new generation. And the new generation will come forward if we engage a crossroads. Mm-hmm. If we say, you know, there's a point in my life where I have to really discern what God wants of me. And so the S is that winding road.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the projects that you would do? What is the strategy you use to find this S?
All right. So one of our basic taglines is dare to be different. That's our slogan of Generation S. So this awareness program of the Archdiocese is to bring young people to a point that they are aware that God still calls. God still calls young people today, and not so young, and young adults. And in that awareness, dare to be different, to think and talk about the priesthood, think and talk about religious life, think and talk about a lay consecrated life. Mm-hmm. And so our projects help create that sense of mission. So we have our social outreach project, which we call the Generation S 24-hour fast. Mm-hmm. And the Generation S 24-hour fast encourages people, young people, to think big, think bigger than themselves, to make sacrifice for something bigger than themselves. The kingdom of God, the church, the social needs of people, for those who are on the margins, for those who are poor, for those who rarely find themselves in the dire straits of life. Mm-hmm.
Where are these Generation S people? Is it a group that meets together, or is it within the parishes? Okay. Or where are these people? How do you bring them together?
Right. So the Generation S, we have a Generation S team, and I am the team leader.
Okay.
And so the Generation S team, including me, the team leader, promote vocations throughout the Archdiocese.
Okay.
And so what we have allied to Generation S is something called the Parish Vocations Committee.
Oh, okay.
So the Parish Vocations Committee in the parish help us to roll out the vocations awareness program.
So within each parish, you have your
Theoretically.
delegates. Theoretically.
So when we started off 3 years ago, this year is the 4th anniversary of Generation S. When we started off 4 years now, April, we had 32 PVCs, Parish Vocations Committees. Many of them are still functioning, some are dormant, and we hope to spread it to the entire Archdiocese. But you know, human resource issues, to get people involved, is always the excitement of ministry and getting ministry animated in an archdiocese or in a parish. So our projects have included fasting for street children, children who displaced, socially displaced children. So the first year we handed over $60,000 towards the Holy Faith Sisters for their work with the socially displaced children. Another year we handed over money to about 50,000 towards Eternal Light in their work with victims of domestic violence, battered women. In the third year, we worked with the Dominican sisters in Arima, and we helped construct a house for someone who was really living off the dump, and really needed a proper house to live in.
So the funding from the fasting would go
towards that, and it also helps in vocations ministry. So it's a twofold thing. In the Generation S 24-hour fast, we bring together the 3 pillars of Lent, and it's appropriate that we could talk about the 3 pillars of Lent: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So we encourage the young people to pray while they're fasting. So that's prayer, fasting obviously. So they go through a fast from 6 p.m. one day to 6 p.m. the other day, amounting to 24 hours. It's a great challenge. We have people coming back asking for cards because young people like a challenge.
Oh, yes.
We have to just facilitate the challenge. And then almsgiving. So in the fast, what happens is this. So you're fasting for 24 hours, and each hour of the fast is sponsored. Okay. It could be sponsored with $10, that's the minimum, so to speak, or it could be sponsored with $20, it could be sponsored with $100. But we want people to sponsor each hour of the 24 hours. And so the young person or the young adult hands back in the card with a minimum of $240, and this goes to the social cause, the social ministry that we have come up with. This year, we're working with the Archbishop and Eternal Light community in Sealots. Okay. There was a fire some time ago, and some houses were destroyed. So the Archbishop has that initiative, together with Eternal Light community and the Catholic presence there, to help in that regard. So we are making an appeal to all confirmation students, all young adults, all people in youth groups.
So from what age would you talk about when you talk confirmation? That's about 14?
We're really talking about 14 and above, because the canon law of the church says that you shouldn't encourage fasting for under 14 and over 60. So
why are you looking at me, Father?
You still have some time. You still have some time. So we could encourage our viewership, our listenership to get involved. You can get involved through contributing to the fast. Or you can get involved as a faster per se.
So it's persons from
14 onwards, we really want to focus on
the
because
young
a lot
people.
of young people say as soon as they do something in the church, all the seniors jump in.
It's like Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we want this for them. We want young people between 15 and 30, because I consider anything under 30 young. Above 30, you're over the hill. You're off the calendar.
Yeah. Well, we'll discuss that after.
You and I are off the calendar a long time.
Yeah, as far as the fast is concerned, yes, absolutely. absolutely. But so this is going to be announced in the parishes. How are we going to roll it out?
Yeah, this year we are going through the confirmation classes and the youth groups because many Catholics they complain of so many announcements and sometimes they zone out. Mm-hmm. So it's too important to be zoned out on. So we're going to another level with respect to the fast confirmation. We go into the schools. And through the schools, we're getting many of our Catholics, and even if they are non-Catholics, if they want to be involved in the fast, because fasting is a universal thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I think we also need to let the people know that they'll be asking for contributions.
Yeah.
Their contributions for the $10 per hour.
Yeah. So hence we approach a Catholic News, we approach TCN, we have a Facebook page, we're going to do WhatsApp. There's so many media that we are trying to use this year to help promote the fast. Hopefully next year we can get some sort of corporate sponsorship to get onto the radio. If you know any corporate citizens or any corporate citizens listening to this program, because fasting is important for society. I believe that fasting is a means to a greater end. You deal with excesses, personal excesses, social excesses through fasting. It's a spiritual journey. Fasting is a spiritual journey. It's about self-forgetfulness. It's about sacrifice. For us Catholics, Christians, we unite our sacrifice with the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. So fasting is multifaceted, is multidimensional. In a materialistic world, in a world of hedonism, in a world of quick pleasure and quick fixes, fasting sort of neutralizes that. It takes you away from that kind of road of wanting to satisfy every appetite. From the spiritual dimension, when we talk about fasting, we speak about a hunger for God. Because when you fast, you become hungry. And when a person is fasting, fasting is not a diet. Fasting, you don't think, well, okay, I'm losing some weight with this fast. No.
I'm fasting for Lent.
Yes. No, fasting has nothing to do with dieting. Fasting is to feel hunger, and when you feel hunger, two things ought to happen. A hunger for God and a solidarity with people who have nothing to eat. And that's why fasting is important in a society, because people who have means will believe, I'm fasting, but I know my fast is going to end at 6 o'clock. There are poor people in this country that do not know when their fast will end, and they fast throughout the year. They fast, quote unquote, throughout the year because they just don't have, or it may not be fasting per se, because there are people who live on water and they skip and cricks. People in this country, they're below the poverty line. So that's why we need corporate sponsorship, hopefully, to get onto the airwaves, get onto the television, the need for fasting as a way of a spiritual path, of promoting a spiritual path, once more of hunger for God, but also of social awareness that there are people who have 2 meals, or people who are undernourished, people who are not eating properly, people who have little. When I go to pharmacies, and you see on milk products, baby milk products, a sensor, that hurts my heart, because the owners of pharmacies place these sensors to prevent theft. So if you make a step backward, it means that there are mothers who cannot afford baby formula, baby milk, and may resort to stealing. In our country, with the millions and millions of dollars, the Porsches on the road, the Benzes on the road, the Ferraris on the road. I was saying to someone, a Benz now on the highway is as common as a Toyota Corolla. That's the disparity in wealth. So when we're talking about fasting, we're talking about people of high income and middle income learning what it means to go without. Learning what it means to have empty cupboards. There are people with empty cupboards. There are people who live from paycheck to paycheck. And if we don't get into somebody's experience, if we don't get into somebody's shoes, you find we do nothing about it. So there are structural issues that the church and society and the state and NGOs have to think about always, because there will be always people who fall through the cracks. And fasting as a spiritual exercise helps you to be in solidarity with those who fall through the cracks. So Generation S fast helps young people to be in solidarity, because they're the leaders of tomorrow. To be in solidarity with those who have little or nothing, and then to do something about it. Because the young people of today are the decision makers of tomorrow. And they're helping immediately people in Sealots, through the Archbishop and through Eternal Light Community, to reconstruct some homes. Now, the more the merrier. So the more people help, the better. So that's where we are with the Generation S fast. And in previous years, Generation S, for those who are joining us, Generation S has done some creative things with respect to vocations awareness. We have had great assemblies for altar servers. One year, we got 1,100 altar altar servers in the cathedral to talk about vocations.
Wow.
We have had confirmation assemblies. We got all the confirmation students in the country to come together to talk about vocation. Another time we had a telethon right here at TCN, bringing all the priests and religious to talk about their experience. And of course, the essay competition. Last year we had an essay competition asking young people to write, what if God called me to the priesthood, to the religious life. So slowly but surely we're getting the word out there on vocations, but we need a lot of help. We need a lot of prayers. We need the support of the community, the support of the parishes. We need people who would come on board and form in collaboration with their parish priests to come and form what we call the Parish Vocations Committee that will help roll out programs of Generation S. A very popular program is the Vocations Cup program. Yeah. We're going to roll it out in St. Joseph after Easter. And basically, it asks families to volunteer to receive a chalice in their homes and pray for vocations on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, or twice a week. But the cup goes to the home from Sunday to Sunday. And so the home, members of the home, the father, the mother, even if it's a single parent home or grandmother headed family, it does not matter. Home is home, family is family. And so some people say, well, I'm a single parent. Can I bring the cup at home? Of course you can bring the cup at home. You're Catholic and you go to Mass and you receive the cup. So if it's a single mother, a single father, a grandmother, whoever is home, we want them to come together using prescribed literature, prescribed prayers. So it's really user-friendly. And we get the family to sit down and pray together. And so many people have come with testimonies saying that our family started praying together again because of the Vocations Cup.
And I guess it also creates an awareness in the church weekly when you have to change the cup that we are doing. That we are doing this. What are some of the? Have you had feedback from any young people as to the benefits of being a part of Generation S and what it has done for them?
Well, to start, we had a retreat, and one of the guys in St. Joseph who is exploring priesthood, was part of one of the first generation S retreat. And people say they think, young people say they think about priesthood, they become dare to be different. But many times, I would say, to be honest, you sow the seed. That's my job. You sow the seed. You see, marriage is in your face. Single life is in your face. Through the media, through Hollywood, through life in general. The celibate way of life, the religious life, the priesthood has to play catch up in the consciousness of people. And so we want to bring priesthood, religious life, lay consecrated life into the consciousness. So we sow a seed into the consciousness of young people. Because all sorts of seeds are being sown in the consciousness of young people. Atheism.
Yes, and
it's a big. I remember being in my office with a self-professed atheist, and he said to me, "Boss," I'm quoting him, "Boss, I am not a passive atheist. I intend to spread atheism in this country." He was 26 years old.
Wow.
So all sorts of seeds are being sown in our young people. We have to sow good seed. The seeds of honesty and integrity and love and mercy and reconciliation and vocation. So that's Generation S in a nutshell.
Let's zero in a little bit on what's going to happen this year for Lent, because I know Generation S is planning another fast this year.
So the fast is on Thursday the 28th, 6 p.m. from Thursday the 28th to 6 p.m. on Friday the 29th. And already we have started giving out vocation cards, what we call the fast cards, to schools and confirmation classes. So everybody who's listening, encourage your grandson, encourage your granddaughter, encourage your son or your daughter to become a faster this year, to do the fast on Thursday the 28th to Friday the 29th is Lent, and we as Catholics should be fasting. It's a tough fast. You fast with water, and after the 12 hours,
so it's just a water fast.
It's a water fast. After the 12 hours, there's a change in your body. I have done this fast since seminary days in Ireland. And it's beautiful after the 12th hour. The first 12 hours are tough, but life is tough.
Yeah.
Life is tough. I'm not mincing words. Life is tough. Yeah. But after the first 12 hours, there's a change in the body. There's a change in your spirit. There's a change in how you feel. I can't describe it, but you have to experience it. 24 hours.
Yeah, and so we're asking them to do the fast, and also the adults as well, to support them by contributing
to each hour
with their cards.
And I mean, there's sometimes we have young adults who work, so they could sponsor themselves. They say, okay, this is my... So there's
self-sponsorship as well for the young people who are working. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Because a lot of times young people are looking at, what are we going to do for Lent? How can I contribute? So in this way you fast and you also almsgive, you know.
True it as well. So it's prayer, it's fasting, it's almsgiving. And you could do it with your friends and say, okay, there's our challenge. And we go and we have a pot of soup after. Because after 24-hour fast, you should have something light. You shouldn't eat Edwards.
You shouldn't go to KFC.
and KFC and Wolfdonger pizza. You should have something light. And finish the fast with the rosary or with Holy Mass. Or the Blessed Sacrament sometime before the Blessed Sacrament.
So will the parishes be organizing after Mass on the Friday at 6 o'clock? Well, most parishes will have stations of the cross and so on Friday at 6 o'clock.
Right, so the PVCs are encouraged, the parish vocations committees, they're encouraged to have a soup ready. But that is not mandatory. If people want to end the fast at home, that's fine. If they want to end it with a group of friends, that's fine. But the important thing really is to get the country fasting, to get the archdiocese fasting. It's really a culture of fasting. We have a culture of eating fish in Lent.
Yes.
And that is my pet peeve. I don't know if we have time. Could I talk about that pet peeve?
Yes, you can.
All right.
We have 3 minutes for you to talk about your peeve, Father.
Yes. So we have a culture of eating fish, but we don't have a culture of fasting. Eating fish was good back then, when fish was a cheaper meat. The idea was to eat fish in Lent because it was a cheaper meat, and the savings would be given to the poor. Right now, in Lent, fish is the most expensive meat.
Yes.
So we should not be going and buying carrot and kingfish at $40 a pound, because we're not going to save any money.
Yes, yes.
And we're not going to give anything to the poor.
Yes.
So just as we have a culture of eating fish, which facetiously I should say should become a culture of eating a cheaper meat,
Yes.
should be a culture of fasting. And the money you save, because when you fast, you don't eat, it's $40 for a box of food. So if you fast twice a week, that's $80. And for a month, that's $320 you save. You can give that to charity. You can give that to the poor.
So maybe we should just give up all meats for Lent and be a vegetarian also.
And I am trying that. I'm doing it this year.
Yeah, and maybe it's a good idea because it's so true. Fish has become, nobody could really afford fish anymore. So we're in the last 2 minutes of the program, Father. So to just recap, the fast is taking place on it's a Generation S fast, Generation Service fast for persons between the ages of 14 to 15 to 30. And if you think you're a little young after 30, you're welcome to do it as well. And we're asking that it be a water fast, and minimum contribution per hour is $10. So you can probably take part of the card or the entire card. Working persons can also fill out your own card as well. We're inviting parishes to get involved, the Catholic schools to get involved, and I know schools like Convent and so would be very involved.
And children, Catholic children in government schools, youth groups, and we're looking for a corporate sponsor for next year to make it bigger in the society. So working towards a
so
culture
those of us
fasting.
who can afford corporate sponsors this year, who know, and corporate sponsors who might be looking on right now, we invite you to please get involved in one of the schools or the confirmation classes and do it. So Father, thank you very much, and thank you so much for all you do for our church and the people of God. And I wish you all the best with your Generation S fast, and for all of us out there, on the 28th and 29th, we're doing the Generation S fast, those of us between the ages of 15 to 30, and the rest of us supporting financially and otherwise.
It's all God's work.
It's all God's work. God bless, and enjoy the rest of your day.